Sunken Treasure by Gail Gibbons. It's there! It's really there! The rotting hull of a ship has been found on the ocean floor. Within the wreck lies a fabulous treasure. The story of each underwater treasure hunt is different, but each goes back to the same beginning, the sinking of the ship. The story of the hunt of the Nuestra Señora de la Atocha, a Spanish galleon, begins the same way. The Atocha, the sinking. It is 1622. The Atocha, with its fleet of sister ships, makes its way back from South America to Spain. The Atocha is the treasure ship, laden with gold, jewels, silver bars, and thousands of coins. The fleet makes a stop in Cuba and then sets off again. As the ship nears Florida, a hurricane gathers strength. Winds rip at the Atocha's sails. Spray washes across the deck. The 265 people aboard the ship are terrified. Suddenly, a huge wave lifts the ship and throws it against a reef. The hull breaks open and the Atocha, along with several of its sister ships, sinks beneath the waves. All but 5 aboard the Atocha drown. The search. Spain wants its treasure back. Search ships are sent out. They find one of the Atocha's sister ships, the Santa Margarita, and salvage begins. Sponge and pearl divers bring some of the Santa Margarita's treasure to the surface, but the Atocha cannot be found. Hundreds of years go by. The Atocha is almost forgotten. Storms and strong sea currents scatter its treasure for miles along the ocean floor. The ship slowly rots and breaks into pieces. Sand covers the remains. In the early 1960s, a new search begins. A man named Mel Fisher has read about the Atocha. He is determined to find the lost treasure ship. He will need boats, crew, and equipment. Investors provide the money and the venture gets underway. Search boats go to where it is believed the Atocha went down. The boats are fitted with modern equipment for exploring the ocean bottom. The side-can sonar takes readings of the ocean floor. The magnetometer detects metal objects. When the instruments register a hit, divers go down to investigate. They keep in view of each other and regularly check the air supplies. Air tank. The underwater metal detector locates metal objects too. Large elbow-shaped pipes called mailboxes are swung into place. The mailboxes are Mel Fisher's invention. The whirling of the boat's propellers forces water through the mailboxes, blowing large holes in the sand. If anything is buried, it will be uncovered. But only litter is found. Nothing of value, nothing from the Atocha. Where should they look next? Mel Fisher asks for help from Eugene Lyon, an expert who can translate old Spanish documents. Lyon looks through stacks of shipping records from the 1600s. The work takes years. Finally, in 1970, he finds a clue. He discovers new evidence pointing to where the Atocha sank, a new area 100 miles away from where the team had been looking. Lyon also finds a cargo list that tells what the Atocha was carrying. A search boat moves to the new location. In 1971, a huge galleon anchor, several muskets, and gold bars and chains are found. But are they from the Atocha? There's no way to prove it. 2 years later, 3 heavy silver bars are recovered. The bars with their markings match up to the Atocha's cargo list. Now they have proof. Then, in 1975, the Atocha's bronze cannons are found. The crew believe they are getting closer to the mother lode, the main treasure of the ship. But they are wrong. Day after day, they search the huge area. Many more years go by. Crew members leave, the new ones sign on. When the money runs out, new investors must be found. The find. 1985. The crew go back and search the site they had searched years ago. And then it happens. A big hit registers on their equipment. Divers go down. We found it! The mother lode! Mel Fisher's 20-year search is finally over. Resting on the ocean floor, 55 feet below, is the Atocha's fabled treasure, glinting gold bars, jewelry, gold and silver coins, and other precious finds. Nearly all the listed cargo is there, and more. Some treasure must have been smuggled aboard. The recording. The crew works with the marine archaeologist, Duncan Mathewson. He insists that the mother lode not be disturbed. A grid of plastic pipes is laid over the site. The divers take pictures and make drawings square by square. Each square of the grid is numbered. That way, the exact position of timber, coin, and artifact is recorded. Later, archaeologists and historians will use this information to learn about times past. The salvage. Now the treasure can be brought to the surface. Salvage boats are moved in. Divers descend and crew members lower baskets over the side to them. The divers gently fan the sand with their hands and use an airlift to quickly suck it away. As treasures is recovered, other artifacts exposed underneath. Each piece of treasure must be accounted for. Again, everything found is sketched and photographed. One after another, baskets full of treasure are raised to the surface. Each day the work continues. Dive after dive after dive. More treasure is recovered from the deep. It is hard work and can be done only in good weather. The salvage goes on for weeks, months, and years. Restoration and preservation. In a building back on the mainland, other workers sort the treasure as it is brought from the salvage site. Some of the treasure will crumble if it is exposed to air. Soaking it in water preserves it temporarily. Later, workers will determine the right way to preserve each artifact permanently. Silver coins are put into the chemical baths to clean and restore them. In 1 or 2 days, they will look like new. Silver bars soak in chemical baths too, but they will take longer to clean. They are bigger. The gold from the Atocha is already shiny. Gold never loses its luster. There were many pottery storage jars aboard the Atocha. Amazingly, some are recovered whole. Other jars have been shattered and now must be pieced together again. Cataloging. Cataloging of the Atocha's treasure is done in several ways. A photographer takes pictures of a sword. Coins are scanned by a computer and an exact description of each one is stored in the computer's memory. An artist draws pictures of a gold plate and emerald-studded necklace. This kind of careful cataloging provides a valuable record for the future. Distribution. Some of the treasure will go to museums. Some will go to investors and some will go to the crew. All of them made it possible for Mel Fisher's long search to continue. A computer works out what each one's fair share will be. The treasure of the Nuestra Senora de Atocha is valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. A very wealthy treasure ship indeed. The wreck and its artifacts will be studied by historians and archaeologists for years to come. Their discoveries will enrich our knowledge of the past. This will be the second treasure of the Atocha.